Hey, DR fam. Hope everybody's doing well. Had a great weekend and even better Monday. Let's see, this weekend we cleaned out our garage. So yeah, that was one of those things where you just don't ever want to do it again. But it looks much better now. But anyway, let's talk about DR today, and not a whole lot to talk about for the New York session. Be honest to you. Um, Spoiler alert, I did not trade anything today because none of the setups were where I wanted them to be. All right, and so um, let's look at. And I actually barely even looked at this chart today, so you got to excuse me. I'll show you where I looked at for real in a minute here, but just want to go through New York because that's what we normally take a look at first. So if you look at New York, and we had this movement here, which again for the DR setup I don't like because that's not giving me a bias. And so, you gotta remember today's like the last day of the month for July, believe it or not. And so, there's a lot of kind of movement in the market when it comes to having to kind of, flatten out a lot of positions, etc. So, wasn't expecting much today. I did most of my damage last night. I did all of my damage last night. I didn't do anything today, but just looking at that this morning, I was like, well, not gonna be a whole lot happening. If you look at even just the setup for DR, point wise, oops, let me get that buy side out of the way. 19 to, so about, yeah, really, I mean, it was a 19-point range. But again, still just wasn't anything that I was interested in. All right, so let's go through it. All right, so looks like we actually, yep, actually we did that. So it looks like we actually came down and closed DR low right around 1 o'clock. Hadn't even seen that one. And so, so we closed down, retrace all the way up to IDR. And so technically there was a nice play there if you'd have saw it. Like I didn't see it. But you could have put your order here. So that's about 4607, and then take it down 4602. So that's your 5 points right there. So let me not give today such a bad name because actually the plan did work if again if you were paying attention and you went through it. So all right. Kudos to you, Mr. New York. I'll let you do your thing. All right. So next thing happens is we reverse back up. Again, we're into the weekly open, all right, that pink line. But that's not on my ladder, so I would not have taken that trade. And then we had this motion here. Same thing again. Now, one thing I will say is you could have done on this one is if you notice we went back up above IDR again, right, on IDR low. So technically you could have taken a trade, got picked up here, probably right in that second red candle there. And then a little bit of heat, maybe a couple points of heat. And then so if we go from there to 8, from 8, and that's down to 3. So that's another 5 if you're playing it, from tip to tip, as we say. So yeah, there's 2 that could have happened. Again, all based on your risk tolerance and kind of how much you're paying attention. Now again, so here, this one, we go back up again, same trade. All right. Now this one comes down all the way down to 45.98. So, that's a, let's see, 98 to 7. That's what, 9 points roughly. So that's really a nice one here. Again, all we're doing is using our using IDR as our trigger, right? So again, once we've confirmed, all we're waiting for is those triggers to happen. Okay. Now, price comes down here to midnight open, one of our favorites. And remember what midnight is. And this is like at 350. So again, end of the day, a lot of rebalancing going on. Yeah, no way I'm messing around with that. I know some people who would or who did, and had a nice run up into 4 o'clock. Again, I once it got past, I completely missed this at 1 o'clock, right? Because I was actually out and about with the wife and wasn't even really looking at charts, so didn't even see that one. But again, come here, this would have been massive move up if you'd have been able to take that. But again, that close to 4 o'clock, I'm not really trusting it that much, but that's just me. All right, and I'm pretty risky, but that's when I'm like, not really worth it. Okay, so let's talk real quick about um, last night. If you notice, and this was Asian, right, when the market opened at 6 p.m. And I'll throw on this, so you see where our new week opening gap was, right there. Um, so that pink box, that's our new week opening gap. So that's the difference between Friday 4 p.m. and Sunday at 6 p.m. Right, so that's what that means. Okay, and that just kind of gives you, so the top of that is always going to be your weekly open, but it kind of gives you the range of where things are. A lot of times that weekly open, it'll come back to that several times during the week to use that as a support or resistance. So something that you can keep an eye on. And well, this thing let me close that. Okay, there you go. All right. So let's talk real quick about what happened with last night. First thing that happened was I took a gut trade, right? We talked about my gut trade is like I just see where the market's kind of going, and I just jump in and get the points and get out. So this was a gut trade over here. So I took 5 points kind of off the rip after that first candle went up and it came back down. That second candle right there, I just went and jumped in on a trade to go higher, and took 5 points off of that. So I thought I thought that might be it, because it's Sunday, it's Asian, usually it's pretty slow, but then then we saw this happen, right? So that set up for DR, which again to me is a 60% bias of going down. Okay, and so then the next thing that happens is we actually confirm low here. All right, get our confirmation, and then we actually we actually come down, and then we retrace back up almost to the 0.5 fib, but we didn't do that, right? And so since we didn't do that, if I could get this thing will not move. All right, why can I get these things to move? Acting up on me today, so apologies. Okay, so once we confirm, right over here. Now the first move that we had, okay, we had a confirmation here, and if you notice, there is a slight retrace right here, okay, and so that retrace didn't really go above the IDR low. It actually went right to it and then came back down. So IDR for me, the order was right there. Again, it's a quarter point, and so here's your next trade. That takes you from 10, and that one gets you down right here, so right around 5. So that's about another 5-pointer. But then the trade I actually took, I did take this trade. I can't remember how much actually I got off of that. It might have been 4 or 5. I can't remember honestly, because this is the one that excited me, the next one. And so I got here, and now we're taking a trade off the IDR low, and then this becomes just a nice, just a nice slow, steady move here. And so, all the way down, you could take that down all night if you wanted to, but I got out right around 11, because that's when I went to bed, and so that gave me 97 to, so that was like 10. So that's about 13 points. I actually ended up with about 20 points last night by the time I was all done. So I literally said, like, y'all might not even see me in the morning. Not knowing exactly what's going to happen today, but I was like, 20 points, running ES minis, I'm good with that. I don't have to trade in the morning. So that's what I did not do, which was probably good, because I would have probably been frustrated today. But anyway, so, real quick, that's what we did last night. Again, that's where the action was. One thing I like about Asian, and London sometimes when I wake up, but the Asian, a lot of times, because there's not a lot of volume in it, when things start to move, they tend to move in that direction. Not a whole lot of consolidation when it's actually, when it's not just moving in one direction or the other. So, this was a really nice just pattern that way, and depending on where you got in, you could have just rolled that down and had a really good night. So I know people did it on the NQ as well last night. I did not look at NQ. I was kind of watching watching Transformers movies that just came on Amazon, and then also letting the chart do its work. So anyway, that's all. Hope everybody again had a great weekend and a great Monday. Hug on your loved ones. You never know when you won't be able to do it again, so take advantage of it. And we will catch you tomorrow. Tomorrow's first of the month. That's the first of the month. All right, now I'm going to sing for you guys. But anyway, first of the month, so we know we might see some action happening in the market tomorrow. All right, God bless, and we'll see you.